Welcome once again. I'm Charlie Greenberg, your host and moderator for today's webMethods Wednesdays presentation and live demo. Most recently, we've updated you on webMethods technology, including B2B and cloud integration, API management, master data management, and DevOps, all of which play a solution-oriented role in the digital business platform, which enables the rapid development of next-generation digital applications. Today we'll be discussing the webMethods Big Data Gateway, which is the key integration solution for managing big data within the digital business platform. And in just a few minutes, I'll be joined by Siri Nagarajan, Senior Manager for Software AG's Product Management Team. But first, I'll just remind you that all webMethods products and solutions are from Software AG, a 45-year-old organization, well known for its customer-centric innovation. In fact, Software AG is ranked as a leader in many innovative and digital technology categories. We're a billion-dollar company, and we can cite 70% of the Global 1,000 as customers. Our customers include leading organizations who have adopted webMethods products to innovate solutions across industry, across private and public sectors, and who also rely on Software AG to complete their journeys as digital enterprises by using the end-to-end capabilities of the digital business platform. So let's start the conversation with a few salient facts recently published in Forbes magazine. Firstly, let's note that 50% of companies are already investing in big data initiatives, and these initiatives in part are defined by the adoption of big data strategies such as Hadoop and NoSQL. But by Forbes calculations, the worldwide revenues for big data and business analytics software will grow from nearly $122 billion in 2015 to more than $187 billion by 2019. Or more than a 50% increase over the 5-year forecast period. So what makes big data so big? The exponential increase in data volumes associated with big data are really, believe it or not, only a small part of the story, because as you can see in this particular slide, the story is also about meeting the challenges to streamline big data's complexity. The big data revolution has everything to do with IoT, as you know, but also continued growth of an on-premises computing. And these major forces have formed a big data ecosystem, dynamically churning and pulling together divergent operational master data, reference data, business and system metadata, sensor data, and even social media data. In other words, an exponential increase in divergent and disparate data sources. We need to not only control, but maximize big data's business value. So big data has to be integrated. It has to be mapped. It has to be streamlined. We need to govern not only structured data, but unstructured data, and everything you can possibly imagine that is now digitized, including, once again, sensor data, but also audio and video. So integration continues to be a critical success factor in the big data story, enabling connectivity to Hadoop, for example, for storage, and providing APIs for data consumption and decision support analytics. Again, and to ensure big data adoption, we have to deal with the complexity of big data environments. The mounting challenges may include, for example, different lines of businesses that insist on big data consumption tailored to their own requirements, including real-time analysis, pattern detection, trending, and so on. So why Software AG's Big Data Gateway? Because, simply put, this solution allows us to connect and integrate with all cloud and on-premises data sources. It supports both structured and unstructured data, governs the processes that control the big data, and integration makes sure that big data is consistently consumable and providing value through APIs. To summarize, before I hand the presentation over to Suri, webMethods Big Data Gateway provides end-to-end support for the ingestion of data sources, including those coming from SaaS, on-premises, and IoT. It provides data orchestration to support mapping and invoke jobs related to consumption and bulk data loads. And the Big Data Gateway helps utilize various web services and APIs to maximize consumption. And the other pillar here is governance for all these processes through monitoring and controls for security, risk, and again, consumption. By the way, Siri and I will be conducting a Q&A at the end of this Big Data Gateway presentation, so please use the WebEx Q&A box at the bottom right-hand side of your screen for any questions or comments. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Siri Nagarajan. Siri?
Thank you, Charlie. Before I give you a demo of the Big Data Gateway and its capabilities, I would like to talk a bit on the current market trend and what our customers are doing with our products. One very popular trend that we see today is that the traditional ETL tools and technology are getting redefined. One very popular trend that we see today, now the big data technology is gaining widespread adoption for 4 main reasons. It makes use of commodity hardware and inexpensive technologies like Hadoop. The volume of data that needs to be analyzed is growing by leaps and bounds. There are so many different SaaS applications being used by enterprises, and then comes data from several devices, social media, and so on. Very clearly, the traditional ETL and data warehousing technology cannot handle so much volume, and you need a big data platform. Reason 3, there is a lot of variety in the data. Traditional data warehouse tools expect your data to be in star schemas or other optimized schemas, but that is not feasible given the variety of data. You now have different kinds of data from devices, applications, etc., and they are all structured as well as unstructured. And number 4 is the velocity of data. The speed of data that you receive because of devices is very high. You don't want to know tomorrow that your credit card is misused today. So given this, the traditional warehouse is slowly getting replaced with Hadoop, and so are the ETL tools. ETL approach is very slow. It cannot handle the volume requirements. So instead of extract, transform, and load, the industry is adopting extract, load, and then transform on demand based on the analytics they want to do. webMethods Big Data Gateway supports this new approach. We support structured as well as unstructured data. We connect to multiple different sources, on-premise as well as cloud. You may store the data in native formats in Hadoop, text, XML, JSON, CSV, whatever format you need, we support all those formats. And we have seen companies take up small big data initiatives as a pilot project, and on success, when they try to do more, they realize that there are multiple better tools to do the same thing in a very efficient way. And they end up with multiple technologies and multiple tools, resulting in maintenance, governance, and all sorts of issues. Our platform helps you in streamlining your big data initiatives. Using our platform, you can ingest, you can extract data, orchestrate data, govern them, and control who can access and what kind of access. And moving on to some of the use cases where our existing customers are using our Big Data Gateway, this is a very interesting use case. This is from a very large retail chain. They have about 3,000 retail stores that send information on what their customers bought against what was actually prescribed. Say a customer was prescribed medicine for 10 weeks, and he may have bought medicine only for 2 weeks, depending on the price of the medicine. So this information goes to the centralized pharmaceutical application running in the data center. And as and when this information arrives, they send this data to Hadoop through our Big Data Gateway. This is a typical Lambda architecture. They do real-time analytics using the speed layer, using Kafka, and our universal messaging to feed data. They also store the events on Hadoop for batch processing later. So they analyze consumer behavior, and our platform helps them in moving data in and out. This is another interesting use case from a telematics company. They are a service provider to insurance companies, primarily serving automotive insurance. The end consumer is the car owners. Car owners get a small device from their insurance company, and they need to attach it to their car. And this device sends real-time data to the telematics company on speed, the location of the car, the driving pattern, etc. And the telematics company makes use of this data. They analyze the risk of the insurer, basically the car owner, and come up with insurance premium. They use our platform to gather this information, and they do streaming as well as batch analytics. Our Big Data Gateway helps in-memory processing, ingestion of data into Hadoop, and expose the data to the other applications. And this is from a very large retail bank. They use our platform for every function in their banks, be it for processing loans, payments, wealth management, even the trading platform. They also use our digital business platform for non-banking applications. So any transaction that happens at this bank goes through our digital business platform. Now they have also started using it as a gateway to their Hadoop ecosystem. Using the platform, they control who can access data on Hadoop, HBase, etc. What kind of access, and they even monitor what data goes in and out. They also expose data to other applications using our platform. So it's a gateway in the true sense. You cannot access data on Hadoop or the other NoSQL products without going through our digital business platform. And very quickly on the gateway capabilities, data on Hadoop needs to come from your OLTP applications, be it your ERP, CRM, or legacy applications. Your actual data lies in your OLTP applications. So we can connect to any on-premise or SaaS application, move the data easily to Hadoop or NoSQL data stores. It could be Hive, MongoDB, CassandraDB, Impala, or even at a very low level to Hadoop file system. You may also orchestrate your analytics jobs on Hadoop from our platform, and finally expose the analyzed data to dashboard or other applications. And before I get into the actual demo, this is a very common use case that we see in many of our customers. There was a recent survey done by Forbes, and it said on an average, there are about 15 different marketing SaaS applications being used by any enterprise company. It's 15 average different marketing SaaS applications. And you will see very familiar applications here, Salesforce, Marketo. So these are from different SaaS vendors. And if you want to do any meaningful analytics, say marketing campaign success rate, you need data from all these different applications because you typically use different applications for the same function. So the data lies in silos. You need them together at a single place, and then the obvious destination is a big data platform like Hadoop because it's cheap, you can store lots of data, and you can do fast analytics. So the challenge here is, connecting to these silos. And these applications, SaaS applications, have a very short life cycle because of the very nature of SaaS. If you find another application better, cheaper, you will switch in no time. So our big data platform It's very agile. It helps you connect to these different applications. And if you change them tomorrow, our platform helps you to adapt to the new ones in no time. So I'm going to showcase a similar scenario in our demo. I'm going to pull data from Salesforce and Marketo, ingest the data into Hadoop, invoke a MapReduce job to do some analytics, and then expose the results over OData to dashboard applications. So let me quickly jump onto the demo. I'll share my screen. All right, so you see the designer. This is the webMethods designer, one single development tool for developing services, business process, partner integration, UI development, and also application development. Now, what you see on the screen is a service that I have orchestrated for fetching data from Marketo and Salesforce. So you see that get leads, it actually gets leads from the Marketo application, and it is getting opportunities from Salesforce. Then I'm doing some mapping, basically merging both, and then I'm storing the data into Hadoop file system. So you see this HDFS, right? So after the data is returned onto the Hadoop, I invoke a MapReduce program which does some analytics. Then once the analytics is done, I move the data to MongoDB. MongoDB is very efficient. It gives you faster results when you have a pointed query. Something like if you want the top 10 sales from a campaign, MongoDB is the place. It gives you faster results against Hadoop. So let me quickly show you how easy it is to develop a service like this for fetching leads from Marketo. I have Marketo and Salesforce connectors installed. So you have this Cloud Streams product. So if you see on the left, you see Marketo, SAP, Salesforce.com. So Marketo is a Cloud Streams connector that I have installed on my server. So I have a connection to Marketo. Let me quickly show you that. It's connecting to an endpoint, and I'm connecting using OAuth tokens. So I'm switching back to my designer screen. So for connecting to Marketo, you need to create something called Cloud Connector Service. So just give it a name. So it will show me the list of connectors that I have installed. I have Marketo installed. I select Marketo, and I have a connection. The connection name is CON1. So I have created a service. Now it gives me a bunch of resources, all the APIs exposed by Marketo. So I need to fetch all the leads. So there is something called query leads. I select this. And it shows me the list of fields that resource has. So I want which company is that lead coming from, probably billing country, postal code, phone, annual revenue. I just select the fields that I'm interested in, and that's pretty much it. I have the service ready. When I invoke this service, it's going to give me the list of leads that I can give a filter saying, give me the list of leads for this owner, and it's going to fetch me all the leads. So that's exactly what I have used in this service, get leads. And it's very similar for opportunities. I can create a similar service for fetching the opportunities from Salesforce. So I've done that. And then I'm invoking HDFS write. We have an adapter for writing into HDFS. So we give you the facility to write, and we also give you the facility to read. And it comes loaded with lots of features. Let me quickly show you what it has. Okay. So HDFS write, you need to pass the connection name and what is the file path. Where do you want to write your file? How do you want to write? We give a bunch of options. You can store it as TXT, you can store it as CSV, JSON, XML. And the best thing is you don't have to take care of the mappings and all those things. If you have an IS document, just pass it. So if we take document as an input, just pass it and specify that you want to write as XML or JSON. It will automatically convert and write into HDFS. And it also has multiple different options. How do you want to write? Do you want to append to an existing file or do you want to overwrite? It has all those features and encoding and what kind of permissions you want to give. And it also makes sure that the file is ready when you have fully written the documents into it. So we take care of all of those. So once I write into HDFS, I invoke a MapReduce program. So we again have a package which can invoke any MapReduce program. This is an invocation. So right from the integration server, I'm invoking a service, I'm invoking a job that is on Hadoop. So I invoke that, and once I invoke, the result is going to be again stored. The analytics results is again going to be stored as a HDFS file. And that file I'm moving to Mongo as the next step. Again, moving to MongoDB is very, very easy. So I'm reading a file and then I connect to MongoDB using JDBC adapter. So we provide JDBC connectivity to multiple different NoSQL products. We support MongoDB, Impala, Hive, Cassandra DB over JDBC adapter. Let me quickly show you how to do that. So you go select, create a service, JDBC adapter service. I'm saying query Mongo. I select JDBC adapter, and I go here. I select connection that I already have, MongoDB Con1. I select that, and then I select SQL, and I say finish. So again, you don't even have to know what are the collections that are there in MongoDB. So it's not tables that are there in MongoDB, it's called collections. You don't even have to know all those terminologies. It gives you whatever is stored on the MongoDB side. So I have a sample data, some data of Starbucks franchisee, their sales volume and all that. It's a really huge collection. It has about millions of records. So I select that. I have nothing to join. I say select. And then I can have some expressions, and I can select which all fields I want, and then I can have the conditions. It's very similar to the connectivity that you will have for Oracle or any of the regular relational database system. So my service is ready. So this is how easy it is. If you want to insert data into MongoDB, again, you just have to create a service for insert using this write template, insert into MongoDB, and that's pretty much all you have to do. So that's how easy it is to create a orchestration to pull data from Marketo and Salesforce, combine them and push them into Hadoop, invoke a job, analytics job, and then again move the result set into MongoDB. That's how easy it is. Now there is additional capabilities that we also have. If you want to expose, let's say you have data on MongoDB, analyze data on MongoDB, and you want to expose the data as a OData service. We also have feature to do that. So you go say OData service. You create a OData service for, let's say again, querying MongoDB, or let me just say MongoDB. I say external source type. So I'm creating an OData service, and I'm actually enabling data on MongoDB as a OData service. You don't have to write any line of code here. We automatically connect to MongoDB and we pull data here. So again, it's the same way. I select MongoDB connection. These are the fields that Starbucks has. I want all the fields, and I say finish. And there it is. So you have a OData service. Now using this OData service, you can insert into MongoDB, you can query MongoDB, you can delete records. The beauty is that this service can be invoked from a simple HTML5 application because everything is over HTTP. It's an OData service. I can give you so this is a tool called Postman. It comes with Chrome. So from here, I can invoke this OData service. So if you look at it, so this is the URL. My IS is running on 5912, and I have a namespace. I'm saying OData, then Starbucks, test Starbucks. So I have really many records there. Let me invoke it. So I must have about 500,000 records, if not millions. It's definitely faster. It will fetch the results soon. So the last time it invoked, it took about 146 milliseconds to get the records. There you go. So it did take a couple of seconds, but then because of the huge number of records. So you can invoke this service using HTTP, and if you're building a dashboard application, you could very easily invoke this OData service without going into a middleware. You just can directly invoke it from backend. So that's how easy it is to pull data, to ingest data into Hadoop, to expose the data as a OData service. And you can basically ingest, expose data, govern data. And with that, I will turn it over to Charlie.
Thank you, Suri. And before we come to the Q&A, we know that many of today's attendees are participating in their own organization's journey to become digital enterprises. So we invite you to take a short online survey that would allow you to benchmark your readiness for digital transformation against 200 companies. And these 200 companies recently participated in the Forrester study looking at digital fitness. So please take a moment to go to digital.softwareag.com. And by the way, all the assessments are broken out by industry, so that might be an additional enticement to do that. So we do have some questions, and let's get to those. Suri, are these capabilities that we've been looking at available in the latest version of webMethods?
Right, they are definitely available on the latest version, but we also have it available on the previous versions. So starting 9.6, you have connectivity to multiple different Hadoop systems, to other SaaS applications. With 9.10, you get capability for creating an OData service. Even earlier you had, but with 9.10, you could, without writing a piece of code, you could OData enable your database system. So it is available on previous versions too.
Okay, great. And by the way, everyone, we still have some time on the clock here, so if you have any questions, please use the Q&A box at the lower right hand of your screen, and we'll be happy to get to those. Also, I'd just like to point out that both I and Suri are available for any conversations you would like to have post this webinar. You can see our email addresses toward the bottom of our screen, and we're happy to hear from you and talk more about that. Here's a question. Do you have any connectivity to Kafka?
Yes, we are releasing one in December very soon. mid-December, we are releasing the connectivity to Kafka.
Okay. Does the invoke MapReduce execute a MapReduce job already created on the cluster, or does it send over MapReduce code to be executed on the cluster? And I'm probably mispronouncing MapReduce.
Right. So currently, we have the ability to invoke an existing MapReduce program, but in the near future, we will have capability to invoke Spark jobs, and also the capability to send Spark jobs to Hadoop and invoke them. So there are multiple things going on. So in the very near future, you will see the capability to invoke Spark jobs.
Okay, thank you. Here's another connectivity question. How can we interact with AWS Cloud from webMethods?
So we do have connectivity to multiple different AWS products. For example, AWS S3 simple file storage. So we have connectivity to multiple different Amazon products. So they are all CloudStreams connectors, and they are available for free. You could go to Tech Community, download them, and connect to AWS. So
okay, great.
S3 connector. We have multiple different Amazon connectors.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Would you want to detail any of those in terms of the variety of Amazon connectors?
Sure. I just need to quickly look it up. Just give me a second.
Or we can take that one offline. That's fine. Let me ask you about connectivity to Azure. Are we providing that?
Yes, we have today connectivity to Azure file storage, and we are building connectivity to Azure platform and Microsoft Graph. Many things are coming pretty soon, but today we have connectivity to Azure cloud storage.
Okay, great. We want to thank once again Suri Nagarajan for the great demo. This is an exciting topic and one that, of course, is of great interest, as we already know, to at least half of the enterprises out there, and it's obviously going to expand upon that in terms of adoption. We'd also like to invite you in the next couple of weeks to another hot topic, another buzz phrase, lift and shift, and that story is going to be about how to lift and shift webMethods into the cloud. Until then, again, we're available for any questions via the email, or please visit us on YouTube to look at more of these webMethods Wednesdays presentations and live demos. We always provide demos. In the meantime, thanks for coming, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Charlie, before we finish, I can answer that previous question. So we provide connectivity to Amazon S3, EC2, Amazon Data Pipeline, Kinesis, SNS, RDS, Redshift, SQS. So we have like 8 different connectors for Amazon.
8, all right. Thank you very much for that information, sir, and that follow-up. And in the meantime, we look forward to seeing you again. Take care.
Thank you.